Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Gilly Charette, and I'm the second bassoon player and the social media director of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra. I'm joined today by our wonderful board member, Anita O'Sullivan, and by our distinguished music director, David Gilbert. We're here to ask David a few questions and to listen to some of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra music. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy this interview.
Hello, David.
Hello.
I will ask you the first question. I'm Anita. And we're very interested to find out how you are spending time during the pandemic.
Well, this is a very interesting thing for me that I have now, as all musicians do, a lot of time on my hands, and I am getting back to my second love. First love is conducting, of course, but I have a very deep second love all my life, and that's composing. And I am now getting back full-time really into that. And it's been wonderful. I intend to keep that going. You know, I'm almost in a retirement phase. Anyway, this coming season will be my final season. And of course, we hope that some of it will get actually performed. We just are going through such a terrible and unexpected time. But whatever happens to it, I'm looking forward, but it is unknown. And in the meantime, I am definitely composing, getting back to my old love, which is very important to me.
That's wonderful. Can you tell us about the projects you're working on?
Well, actually, yes, I have, there's a long-term project, a good part of my life, that I vowed to write an opera on a particular play by the great Irish poet Yeats called The Shadowy Waters. And it's a one-act play, but working with Yeats experts, I have fashioned a two-act opera. And I've actually finished it within the last year. And so that is an enormous thing, which I'm so proud of. Finally, I promised it to myself that I would do that. And that's done now. And in the meantime, there are two projects which I've just recently done over the summer. One is for an orchestra in a small orchestra in Manhattan called the Flexible Orchestra, which changes instrumentation from time to time. And I was commissioned to do a piece for that. It's for 12 instruments, brass and strings, which I decided to do stereo, placed 4 times 3 groups in different locations around the hall or stage. Maybe that's going to help because of social distancing, I don't know. But of course, its plan was to be performed in October, and that's not going to happen for obvious reasons. So, but anyway, the piece is there. The second piece, the one I've just recently finished, has very deep meaning to me, and I think all of us in the Greenwich Symphony. All of us knew the wonderful violist Vincent Leonti. We all called him Vinny. And he was a member of the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra as well. But he played with us many times, and his father, Vic Leonti, was principal of the orchestra for a long time, our orchestra for a long time. And Vic and I go all the way back to our student days at Eastman, a long, long time ago. So the family and Vinny, he was very close, and I was so fond of him, as we all were. So I felt that I could not express just in words how I felt. And so I wrote an elegy for an entire viola section because he played in the viola section, and that was all violists ought to get in on it, so to speak. And so I wrote a short elegy for 12 violas. And it's there now, and I hope that it's very short, and so if we have a concert, couple of concerts in the spring, I want to program it and have the Greenwich Symphony play it. It would be very easy to put into a program because it's short. And we all want to, I think, that way express our thoughts and our feelings for him. We were so fond of him. So that's my latest piece. And now I'm looking ahead to some other pieces that I've wanted to do for a long time. So it's an ongoing thing, and I don't have to worry about how am I going to spend my time. I'm very, very busy.
Well, that is good to hear. Now, and speaking of projects, have you heard of our project, the Greenwich Symphony project called GSOffstage?
Oh, yes. And I think that is a wonderful idea. That's so important that the orchestra keeps putting its face forward and its sounds forward to everyone during this period. And I think that's what all musicians are beginning to do, you know, finding ways to connect in other ways rather than, if they can't do actual concerts, live concerts, then this approach through the media, the social media, is so important. And I think that's wonderful, what I've seen already. And you learn about the individual musicians more than I knew before, which is very, very nice. I know that Gili, for instance, you, of course, I know you as a bassoon player, but I did not realize that your husband was a euphonium player. And lots of people don't know what the euphonium is. It's like a baritone horn, which the orchestra usually loses out on. It's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. My son plays the euphonium, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. So I'm very close to that instrument. And it was great to hear Gili and her husband play a duet. And he, of course, did all the parts for the accompaniment, which was fabulous. I liked that very, very much. And then, of course, I didn't know that Susan Rotholtz sang so beautifully, and with her husband playing the guitar behind her. And then, of course, my friend Leonardo, all my friends, I feel I am friends of all the people in the orchestra, and my Argentine friend, Leonardo Soares Paz, who is so well-versed in the Argentine tango and so on. He reminded me of something that I had forgotten. When I was first assistant with the New York Philharmonic and going on a tour with Zubin Mehta and the New York Philharmonic to this Teatro de Colón in Buenos Aires, Zubin wanted to hear the balance a little bit. And so he went out in the hall and I conducted. And of all things, in the audience passing through by chance was Leonardo. And he reminded me of that, and I had forgotten that, but he knew me, therefore, in a sense, way back. And who knows what other things, there are so many wonderful people in the orchestra, and I learn about them. I hope that more people will be contributing, because that's so good to see the human and other musical sides of our orchestra. Larry Spivak turns out to be a virtuoso percussionist, and you don't hear him that often in the orchestra, but wait till you hear him play Flight of the Bumblebee. It's fantastic. And he's funny too. He's a great guy. So there you go. You see the personalities as well. So I think that's one of the best ideas. So
that's good. I'm glad you're following your orchestra members and learning even more about people that you've known for years.
Yes, indeed. And that's so good for, I think, our potential audiences too, to get to know the orchestra as people and see their personalities. That's very, very important. We are people. Yes, so I'm very happy about that.
We're back with Maestro Gilbert, and I would like to ask you, David, how has being a musician helped you through this crisis?
Well, first of all, I think that music is an enormous help to people, non-musicians as well. I think music is needed. It doesn't matter what kind of music. If it works for you, it's needed. You know, we have food for our bodies, but we also have soul food. I think of it in that term, and it is music, food for the soul. That's the arts. And I found out long ago how very, very important that is, needed. It's not just an entertainment or a important art in the sense of art alone. It is needed for us. I know so many people who have helped get over a very difficult illness. And I know that we're going through that kind of a stage right now, just by listening to their own very favorite music. This has happened in many cases. I have some rather moving stories. Too long for now, but it's many out there to know that it's more than just a few. So it is so very important. For me, being a musician, and as I say, I've been composing, but I've also had a little project which I never dreamed that I would be able to do. And that is print my own music. Most composers do that now. And they have systems which are very complex and I thought hard to learn. But my son has printed some of my music when I've done it before. And this summer he taught me how to print. And I know now print all my own music. And this is you can teach old dogs new tricks, apparently, because it happened. I'm surprised and delighted, but that was another project that happened during the summer for me, connected with music. But I think that we have ways of helping ourselves through this by the greatness of the art that we practice and try to practice. And then it's very rewarding to try to share it with others. I think that's our gift and it, to us as well as to others. And so I feel that it's lucky to be in that sense in the arts. It's a difficult profession, but there are the rewards indeed. So yes, definitely through the pandemic, it helps.
Thank you, David. And our last question does relate to what you have been discussing, and that's the connection that people are able to feel through music during this pandemic. So the official question is, what is it about music that seems to have connected or unified people during the pandemic?
Well, it is, I guess, called the universal language, and it goes beyond words. And again, it's what music works for you. That's what you should use, and to heal yourself, really, in a sense, it is so important in that sense. And I think that we help that as classical music. Classical music has always been, let's say, less generally popular, but it is so beautiful and profound. And I think also that we're going to find out different ways of connecting with people. Who knows what musicians are especially the younger musicians are especially creative in finding new ways to reach people. I mean, and also listen, the New York Philharmonic with its truck. It's a brilliant idea. They go around into anywhere, set up, and people come out and play for people unexpectedly. And it shows that people enjoy it and love it. And all these creative things, in Europe, they did a performance, the opera, the Deutsche Oper did a performance in the parking lot of the opera house. And the Berlin Philharmonic has social distancing on the stage and so on. I think another thing that we miss out on to a large extent in this country is in the round theaters, where audiences can sit all the way around the orchestra. It's either actually tiered that way in the theater itself, or balconies all the way around. If there can be some way to have areas where orchestra can sit and have people sit all around and as close up and personal, then you really get excited. And I think that's too bad with this social distancing. I mean, with the pandemic in general, because you can't get too close. But I think that there will be things coming out of this, like the offstage Greenwich Symphony, or these special types of performances, Zoom. I know a lot of musicians teach through Zoom. I actually have a conducting pupil now that I teach through Zoom, and it works. I was surprised. It was very good, and a lot of musicians are giving private lessons and so on that way. And so there's a lot of creative things are going to come out of this, I'm sure. That's the upside.
Well, thank you, David. You're certainly busy and engaged, and we appreciate that. It's wonderful.
Well, I'm so pleased to be able to talk to you and see this is it, social distancing. And I think people actually are connecting with each other more because of this. People are calling their friends. Here we are talking. It works. That's a help. That's one positive thing that's coming out of this. People are connecting actually more, I actually think. So here we are. We'll get through it.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for your support of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra. I would like to express my sincere thank you to Anita O'Sullivan, our board member, and to our maestro, David Gilbert. It's been wonderful to be here today. We learn from you all the time, and we're so happy that you helped us to select some of these excerpts. So stay tuned and listen to a little bit of more music. Bye.